Right now I'm about to visit the Dutch Reformed First Church of Galle, and it's a very distinctive church. You can notice the architecture of the church. Very, it's a Dutch style. So here we are, the Dutch Reformed Church of Galle. I'm entering the church, and one of my interests are in the gravestones of this period, and many of these gravestones belong to people who are members of the Burger community, which are a community of people of Dutch descent, they're Dutch and Sri Lankan descent, right? But some of them are actually much older. For example, this particular one, which is a typically Dutch tomb, and you can see the skull and crossbones, which symbolizes, of course, death. So, as you can see, it's a very interesting, very fascinating place. It's And here are some of the older graves, and you can also see once again the symbol of the skull and crossbones. So the Dutch became a dominant colonial power when they ousted the Portuguese in alliance with the Sinhalese kings, and later on they themselves were ousted by the British, who took advantage of the fact that the Netherlands had been occupied by the French revolutionary government, which had set up a sort of a puppet regime in the Netherlands. So in this period of confusion, the British used the opportunity to seize Dutch possessions in Asia, in Ceylon, but also in Indonesia and in the Cape, or Cape of Good Hope. So that was the reason why actually Galle fell to the British. It was like without really a fight, and this beautiful Dutch city was preserved. Now what I will do is I will walk into the church, and I will take some footage of some of the very beautiful tombstones, which you can see here. And these are tombstones of Dutch important people. As you can see, it's written in the Dutch language, and you can see the very detailed crests showing griffins holding up a shield, right? And once again, another tomb, and the symbol of death appears again, right? And you see it here again, the skull and crossbones. So this is a small but very charming church, and it's very good that it has been preserved, and that it remains as beautiful as it was originally. And I would like to add something about Dutch colonial architecture and colonial architecture in general. For a long time in Sri Lanka, well, the focus had been on ancient Sinhalese or Sri Lankan type of architecture. But in recent years, there's been a sort of an interest in the island's colonial past and the contribution also of colonial powers to the country. So we have, to a large extent, many people have come to terms that the history of the island has been a very complex one, and many people have played a part in shaping the country's past, and that this has had an enormous impact also on its future, on our present and future, right? So thank you very much, and I look forward to any questions or anything which which you may want to ask with regard to this place and the Dutch fort in general.